Well, here we are at Mabel. Taking her up to the shop. It's gonna be the last drive for a while. She's been doing good, but got the new set of gears for the rear end. I got new tubes and bearings. And I'm gonna finally do something about this oil burning problem she's got. So you can see I'm cruising down the road. She makes good oil pressure, doesn't run hot. So I'm hoping maybe I can just get away with a dingle ball hone and a set of rings, maybe some valve stem seals. So poor old girl's gonna be down for a while, trying to enjoy my last little drive in her for probably gonna be at least a month or two. So hope y'all are enjoying it. All right, project has started. I pulled her in here and took the hood off, and you can see that's one of the big reasons why this is happening. You can see my crack there from the temp sensor to the plug all the way down, and now it's cracked all the way across, and now it's got another crack coming up. So I got another set of heads for it, and I want to go through that bad boy and make sure she's doing healthy as she can be. But getting this hood off, there's 2 bolts right here in the front, right here, and then there's a stud on the bracket that goes through the body right here on either side. So I just took those nuts and bolts off and had to pry it a little bit, but I got the hood off, and as you can see I got the hinges on it, and then I just pulled the battery out of it. But just wanted to make a little short clip here before I get too involved in it. I'm gonna try to record as much of this as I can. So anyway, stay tuned. All right, got the heads off. It's the passenger side. Actually wasn't that too bad to do. All the bolts came out fairly easily. Had a couple bolts that are kind of a pain, but doesn't look too bad. This side's surprisingly worse than the others. I think there's my oil burning problem, that intake valve there. And that one, actually all the intake valves look like they've been burning quite a bit of oil. You can see how dark the pistons are on this side. And then you come around here on the other side. These are all quite a bit cleaner. And I don't know if anybody, I'm assuming this has probably been rebuilt, but whoever did it did a good job. All the Ford stamped valves are on the intake positions. So there's a little bit I don't know if they can catch it with the light there. It looks like the piston's been rubbing the cylinder wall just a little bit right there. But filling the cylinders, there's no scoring or anything. It's still real nice and smooth. But there's no cross etching left in these cylinders at all whatsoever. So I think hoping a new set of rings and dingle ball honing it, be able to get away with it. So I'm gonna keep on tearing her down. All right, I haven't been filming a whole lot. There's a lot of videos on YouTube, people pulling flatheads apart, so no use in filming every little thing. But I got the intake off, and it's really not that bad. There's a little bit of some schmoo back there in the back, But the valley really seems fairly clean. Not too bad at all. I'm going to put new intake valve seals in it. I might do the exhaust also, just depending on what everything looks like. I'm trying to do this as cheap as possible and as fast as possible, so I'm really surprised how clean it is in there. But here's the crazy thing. Pulled the intake off and saw all this stuff sitting there, and I was like, yeah, there's a lot of dirt in there. And I started looking at it. That's not dirt. That's a bunch of ants. That's a big old giant pile of ants. I've probably driven, hell, I don't know, maybe 1,000 miles since I've got this car with this motor in it. Full of ants. Ant powered. Alright, still chipping away. Went ahead and knocked all the valves out while I still got the motor in the car. Made it a whole lot easier to do it with it in the car versus being on the engine stand. And of course, every one of them was stuck. So I had to get the keepers off the bottom of them, get the springs out. But they all came out fairly easily. So far, everything has come out without too much of a struggle. I did have a dead blow hammer explode on me while I was trying to tap the valves out. Unfortunately, looks like I have the solid lifters still. They're not the adjustable ones. And I think they're all the original valve. Of course, all the keepers are shot, or the valve stems, I mean, the seals. Springs seem good, keepers and everything seem good, but I think I'm gonna get a complete valve train kit, valves, seals, everything, because those some of these seats don't look too bad, and some of them look pretty crusty, so I don't know if they'll just clean up or. So I'm gonna finish getting it all the way tore down and clean the block up real good, start cleaning everything. And then once I have everything real nice and clean, I'll put the valve guides in there and sit the valves in it and look at them and see where they're, actually seating on the valves, if the valves are sinking in. But most likely I see this getting a valve job done. So it's gonna keep chipping away. That's all I can do is keep taking it apart until it's apart. Well, I think I figured out my oil burning problem. Pulling out pistons, and it's my number 2 piston. Pretty pitted up, kind of scored up on this side, and oh my, what, are you kidding me? The pieces of this fell off when I pushed the piston out. Now keep in mind, I drove this to my shop. It was running fine, barely making any noise. What the hell? Crazy thing is the cylinders are, they're a little scored up, but you could probably dingle ball hone that cylinder and get away with it. The cylinder that has the rust damage in it is worse off than the cylinder that had the broke piston in it. Ain't that about a bitch? Well, there comes a time in every project when you start asking yourself, am I gonna be able to put all this shit back together? Decided while I had it out, I'd take a look at the transmission here and see what kind of shape it was in. Looks like my synchros are kind of worn. They're pretty close on both sides. So that one's got a little bit better of a gap, but it's such a pain in the ass to deal with this thing. I figure I might as well go through it while I got it out. But so my gears, it's got a bare case, just the reverse idler gear in it. And then I got all my rear end shit still all taken apart, tubes, pieces everywhere. So wish me luck. Just want to get your opinion on this. Just looking this over, and I noticed the output shaft, when I grab it, it's got some play in it. All the gears and synchros and everything seem fine, but that rear shaft has got that amount of play in it. And then the front shaft seems like it's pretty tight. So I didn't know if that was normal or not. Alright, I'm calling it a day. I've been in here making love to plan B here. And I've been taking out all the head studs. This is a 24 stud, so there's 48 studs on this bastard. And I broke 14 of them getting it out. And I did my damnedest trying not to. I can't believe that many of them broke. There's 5 of them on this side. There's 1, 2, 3. Hell, I don't know where the other ones were. But this is the side I started on, and I was like, well, I figure once I get a bunch of practice on it, the other side, maybe I won't break so many. Shit. That was a lie. 5 on that side, 9 on this side. This is where I started, back to front. I figure if I started in the back, getting heat in the block, and of course I've been soaking it in penetrant for the last few days. So I started at the back, figured the heat would kind of work its way through the block if I went this way, and so I wouldn't have to just try to, heat the shit out of it, bouncing around so bad. The first one came out, and I was like, cool. Second one came out, cool. Third one broke. I was like, well, that sucks. And then fourth one came out, and I was like, all right. And then I came down here, I broke that son of a bitch, and then that one broke, and that one broke, and finally I washed my hands, and then I came back about 20 minutes later after I collected myself. Warmed this one up real nice and good because it's got the ports on both sides of it, tapped on it and everything. It broke. And then I just kept on going, and then they all started coming out, and I was like, well, maybe I'm just not getting them hot enough. So I was doing good, and then boom, I broke 5 more. So I was using a little propane torch. I'm afraid to get it too hot, but I got it as hot as I dared. So next step is to try to get the rest of the broken piece of studs out of it. And I got to get all the valve train out of it, get the crankshaft, camshaft out of it, get it down to bare bones, and then I'll get this one over to the machine shop, see if it can be saved. And finally did get my parts for my transmission showed up. Got some new synchros and a little gasket kit, and I also got new seals for it. Of course, everything's all nice and painted, and got a bunch of clear coat on it. I got the bell housings all painted up. Now I'm not even sure if I'm going to use that bell housing because If I wind up using this motor, it won't need that bell housing. And this is the one that the rod came apart in, so I have an oil pan for it, but the oil pan's got a hole in it. So I might have to work the oil pan out. So, fun times. Hope y'all are having a good weekend.